Welcome back to our exploration of Karl Marx's Das Kapital, the book that fundamentally reshaped how we think about economics, labor, and capitalism. In our first video, we covered commodities, money, and value. In this section, we'll dive into chapters 4 through 6, where Marx takes us on a deep dive into the engine of capitalism, capital itself. He reveals the process of turning money into more money, what he calls the general formula for capital. Have you ever wondered, how does money magically multiply itself? Why do some people get richer while others struggle to get by? And what's the secret ingredient that makes the capitalist system tick? These chapters answer those questions by introducing the concept of labor power, the special commodity that generates surplus value. Marx argues that this is the key to understanding how capitalism turns the world of commodities into a system of profit. But this transformation isn't without contradictions. If exchange is supposed to be equal, how can profit or surplus value exist at all? Marx calls this the paradox of capitalism, and solving it reveals the exploitative core of the system. So, let's break it all down. From the mysterious formula of capital to the buying and selling of labor power, this video will unravel the hidden mechanics of profit. In Chapter 4, Marx introduces the cornerstone of his analysis of capitalism, the general formula for capital. It's a simple equation, but it holds profound implications. He calls it MCM, money, commodity, more money. Here's how it works. A capitalist starts with money, uses it to purchase commodities, C, such as raw materials and labor, and then sells the finished products for more money, M. The difference between the original M and the larger M is what Marx calls surplus value, and it's the source of profit. But how does this process generate profit when exchange is supposed to be equal? If commodities are bought and sold at their true value, where does the extra money come from? Marx identifies this as the central paradox of capitalism. How can something be worth more after exchange when it started as an equivalent trade? This mystery is what Marx sets out to solve in the next chapters. The answer lies in the commodities themselves. Specifically, one special commodity, labor power. It's not just any commodity, it has the unique ability to create more value than it costs. And that's where the magic happens. By uncovering the secret of labor power, Marx sets the stage for understanding the engine of profit and exploitation in capitalism. But before we dive into this special commodity, let's explore the contradictions hidden within the general formula itself. Here's a big question. If trade is supposed to be fair, where everything is exchanged for what it's worth, how can money grow into more money? This seems like a mystery. If every trade is equal, where does profit come from? In trade, things are exchanged based on their value. This value comes from the amount of work or labor needed to make them. For example, a loaf of bread trades for something else of equal value, like a basket of apples. Everything stays balanced. But if everything is traded at its true value, then how can someone end up with more money than they started with? It doesn't make sense to say profit comes from buying cheap and selling high. That might work sometimes, but it's not a reliable system. The answer isn't in the market itself, it's in what happens during production. The secret lies in a special kind of product, labor power. This is what workers sell to employers. It's their ability to work and create things. Labor power, like other goods, has a value. This value is based on how much it costs for workers to survive and support their families. But labor power is unique. It can create more value than it costs. That's the key. Here's an example. Let's say a worker is paid for 4 hours of work, but they actually work 8 hours. The first 4 hours cover their wages, but the next 4 create extra value. This extra value is called surplus value, and it becomes profit for the business owner. This process isn't unfair. It follows the rules of exchange. Workers are paid the full value of their labor power, but what they create during the workday is worth much more. This extra value is where profit comes from. Now we see how the system works. The secret to profit isn't cheating or unfair deals. It's the way labor power creates more value than it costs. In Chapter 6, we dig deeper into labor power, the unique commodity that holds the key to understanding profit in capitalism. Labor power isn't just the work someone does, it's the worker's ability to do work, which is bought and sold like a product. Here's how it works. A worker agrees to sell their labor power to a business owner or capitalist in exchange for wages. The worker gives their time and effort, while the capitalist provides the money needed for the worker to live. The value of labor power is based on what it costs to keep the worker and their family alive. This includes things like food, shelter, clothing, and maybe even some education or training. In short, it's the cost of survival. But here's the catch. When a worker sells their labor power, the capitalist gets more than just the worker's time. They get the ability to create products that are worth more than the wages paid to the worker. For example, in a typical workday, part of the time might cover the worker's wages. But the rest of the day, the extra hours, produces value that the worker doesn't get back. This extra value goes to the capitalist as profit. This is how the system works. The capitalist buys labor power at its value, uses it to create goods or services, and sells those goods for more than the total cost of production. The difference between what the products are worth and what the workers are paid is called surplus value. The worker is paid wages for their labor power, but what they produce during the day is worth much more. This is how the system creates profit while following the rules of exchange. Historically, this buying and selling of labor power became possible under specific conditions. First, workers had to be free, not slaves or serfs, so they could sell their labor power. Second, they couldn't own enough land or resources to live independently. They had to rely on selling their ability to work to survive. This setup created a system where workers need jobs to live, and capitalists need workers to create value. It's a relationship that defines the modern economy. Labor power is unlike any other commodity because it can create more value than it costs. This is the foundation of profit in capitalism and the driving force behind the system. In this video, we uncovered the secrets behind capitalism's engine of profit. We explored how money transforms into more money through the special commodity of labor power. We saw how workers create surplus value by producing more than they are paid for, and how this surplus drives the entire system. This foundation, the buying and selling of labor power, sets the stage for what happens next, the actual production process. It's in the factory, the workshop, and the fields where surplus value is extracted and expanded. But how does this process really work? How do capitalists maximize surplus value? And what are the consequences for the workers who create it? In the next video, we'll dive into chapters 7 through 11, where we'll examine the mechanics of production. We'll explore the difference between necessary labor and surplus labor, how the length of the workday affects profits, and the struggles over the working day itself. These chapters reveal the tension at the heart of capitalism, the constant push for greater profits versus the limits of human labor. It's a story of exploitation, resistance, and the relentless drive for growth. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you won't miss the next episode, where we'll uncover how surplus value is created, expanded, and contested in the production process.